The submersible's hull groaned under the immense pressure of the Mariana Trench, but Dr. Sarah Chen barely noticed. Her attention was fixed on the readings flooding her holographic display. Readings that shouldn't exist 11 kilometers beneath the ocean's surface. The signal pulsed with an impossibly regular rhythm, defying everything she knew about deep-sea geology. "Control, are you seeing this?" Sarah's voice was steady despite her racing heart. "The energy signature is unlike anything in our database." "Confirmed, Doctor," came the response from the surface ship above. "Whatever you found down there, it's not natural." The submersible's lights illuminated the darkness ahead, revealing a massive structure half buried in the sediment. Its surface was smooth and metallic, unmarred by millions of years of exposure to the crushing depths. As Sarah maneuvered closer, patterns became visible, intricate geometrical designs that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. "This architecture," Sarah muttered, more to herself than to Control. "The complexity suggests an intelligence far beyond current human capabilities." She guided the submersible's mechanical arm toward the structure, equipped with sensors designed to analyze deep-sea geological formations. As soon as the sensors made contact, the patterns on the structure's surface blazed to life with a brilliant blue-white light. Warning alarms blared through the submersible's cabin. "Dr. Chen, we're detecting a massive energy spike." Control's voice crackled with static. "Recommend immediate withdrawal." But Sarah remained transfixed. The glowing patterns were forming themselves into recognizable symbols, not in any human language, yet somehow she could sense their meaning. It was like remembering something she'd never learned. "No," she said firmly. "We're witnessing first contact with non-human technology. This is what we've been searching for." The structure's surface rippled, and a section slid away to reveal an entrance. Sarah's scientific training warred with decades of science fiction, movies warning against entering mysterious alien structures. But the symbols pulsing across the surface weren't threatening. They were inviting, welcoming. With careful precision, she guided the submersible through the opening. The interior was a vast chamber, its walls lined with the same flowing patterns. As she watched, they began to coalesce into a holographic display that filled the water around her. "Control, are you recording this?" Sarah's voice was barely a whisper. "Affirmative, Doctor. The President is being briefed as we speak." The hologram took shape, a three-dimensional map of the galaxy, with Earth highlighted at its center. Countless points of light connected to form a vast network, with their planet at a crucial nexus point. Then the image shifted, showing massive ships of impossible design, engaged in battle with creatures that defied description. A voice filled the submersible's cabin, speaking in a language that had never been heard on Earth. Yet Sarah understood. Inheritance protocol activated. Human presence detected. Beginning evaluation sequence. "Control," Sarah said, her voice tight with controlled excitement. "We're going to need a larger research team. And tell the President. Tell them we've just inherited the keys to humanity's future." The voice continued. "Your species has reached the first milestone. The Nexus Gate network has slumbered for 12 million years, awaiting inheritors with the necessary attributes. You will be tested." "Tested?" Sarah leaned forward, studying the shifting displays. "Tested for what?" "For the right to claim the Guardian's legacy. To defend this sector against those who would destroy it. The Vorkath Empire expands once more, and Earth's position is strategic." The holographic display showed another star system, where massive ships of sleek, predatory design gathered in numbers that made Sarah's blood run cold. "How long do we have?" "The Vorkath detect the activation of this facility. They come to claim it, believing humans too primitive to be worthy inheritors. You have 6 months to prove them wrong." Sarah's mind raced with implications. Humanity had barely reached its own moon, and now they were being thrust onto an interstellar stage. But as she studied the flowing symbols, she began to recognize patterns, mathematical constants that transcended language or culture. This technology wasn't completely alien. It was designed to be understood by any species capable of reaching it. "Control, get me a secure line to the UN Security Council," she said, her voice firm with resolve. "And contact every major research institution on Earth. We're going to need the best minds humanity has to offer." The structure's systems continued to activate, each new revelation more stunning than the last. This wasn't just a library or a weapon. It was a test. The ancient guardians hadn't just left their technology. They'd created a trial to ensure their inheritors were worthy of it. As Sarah began documenting everything she could, military vessels from 3 nations were already converging on her location. Humanity's tendency toward division could doom them before the alien threat arrived, or perhaps the external danger would finally unite them. The voice spoke again. "Your species possesses an attribute the Guardians valued above all others: adaptability. You create. You innovate. You find solutions where none seem possible. You will need these qualities to survive what comes." Sarah stared at the holographic display of the approaching Warship fleet. They expected to find primitives playing with technology they couldn't understand. Instead, they would face a humanity united by purpose, armed with the legacy of an ancient civilization, and driven by the ultimate motivation: survival. "Control," she said, a slight smile playing across her lips. "Tell the president that humanity just got drafted into an interstellar war, and we're going to win it." The ancient structure hummed with power, its systems awakening fully for the first time in millions of years. As Sarah began interfacing her equipment with the alien technology, she realized that humanity's greatest challenge wouldn't be understanding this gift. It would be putting aside their differences long enough to use it. But as the first military ships arrived on the surface above, Sarah felt a surge of hope. Throughout history, humanity had faced seemingly impossible challenges and emerged stronger. Now they would have to do it again, on a cosmic scale. The voice spoke one final time. "The trial begins. Inheritors of Earth, show us what humanity can become." Sarah took a deep breath, watching as more ships arrived on her surface displays. "Well," she murmured, "no pressure." 3 months after the discovery in the Mariana Trench, the research facility surrounding the Nexus Gate buzzed with activity. Military vessels from a dozen nations patrolled the surface waters while scientists from around the world worked in shifts, racing against time to understand the ancient technology. Commander James Hayes stood at the observation window of the newly constructed underwater base, watching Dr. Chen work with the alien interface. Her hands moved through holographic symbols with increasing confidence, though the crease between her eyebrows betrayed her frustration. "Another dead end?" he asked, as she finally stepped back from the console. Sarah ran her fingers through her disheveled hair. "Not exactly. The Guardian systems are fully functional, but they're waiting for something. It's like having a supercomputer but missing the password. 3 months of the world's best minds, and we're still locked out." Hayes didn't bother hiding his concern. "The Vorkath will be here in 90 days. "That's just it," Sarah said, pulling up a new holographic display. "We're not locked out. The systems respond to us, but they're not operating at full capacity. The Guardian keeps talking about a resonance test that we haven't passed yet." The display showed their latest analysis of the Vorkath fleet, hundreds of warships, each carrying enough firepower to level a city. They were still beyond Mars orbit, but approaching steadily. "Show me the test parameters again," Hayes said, stepping closer to the display. Sarah gestured, and new symbols appeared. "It's not a traditional test. The Guardian isn't looking for specific actions or answers. It's studying how we interact with its systems, how we think, how we—" She stopped abruptly, her eyes widening. "James, what if we've been approaching this all wrong? We've been trying to understand the technology on its terms, but what if that's not the point?" Before Hayes could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red warning lights flashed as technicians rushed to their stations. Multiple objects just appeared in lunar orbit, a sensor operator announced. "Energy signatures match Vorkath scout vessels." Hayes straightened, military training taking over. "How many?" 3 ships, sir. Small craft, probably a reconnaissance force. Sarah was already back at the main interface, her hands flying through holographic controls. They're testing our defenses, seeing how we'll respond. She turned to Hayes. This is it. This is the real test. What do you mean? The Guardian's watching how we handle this. Not just our technical capability, but our approach. She pulled up the ancient battle recordings they'd discovered. Look at how the Guardians fought. Rigid formations, predetermined tactics. But that's not how humans wage war. Hayes studied the recordings with new eyes. We adapt. We improvise. Exactly. Sarah's excitement was palpable. Commander, I need you to coordinate with the surface fleet. But don't follow standard military doctrine. Show me something uniquely human. Hayes allowed himself a slight smile. Doctor, I think it's time we show these aliens why you don't corner a species that went from horse-drawn carriages to nuclear power in less than 2 centuries. The next hour was controlled chaos. Under Hayes' direction, the surface fleet executed a series of seemingly random maneuvers. Submarines dropped to unusual depths, civilian vessels altered their courses, and communication patterns shifted constantly. The Vorkath scouts maintained their position, undoubtedly recording everything. But something else was happening too. The Guardian systems were responding. New displays appeared, showing energy readings they'd never seen before. The systems are activating, Sarah announced, wonder in her voice. Not just responding to commands, they're learning from us, integrating our tactical innovations into their protocols. Hayes watched as the holographic tactical display became more complex, showing possibilities they hadn't considered. They're not just testing if we can use their technology, he realized. They're testing if we can improve it. The Vorkath scouts suddenly began moving, accelerating toward Earth. But before Hayes could give orders, energy surged through the ancient facility. A beam of light shot from underwater arrays they hadn't even known existed, forming a barrier of pure energy between Earth and the approaching vessels. The alien ships pulled up short, then quickly retreated back toward lunar orbit. That, Sarah said with satisfaction, was a warning shot. The Guardians showing them were not as defenseless as they thought. New symbols appeared in the holographic interface, and this time Sarah laughed out loud. The Guardian says we've passed the first resonance test. Our tactical creativity exceeded original parameters. So we can access the defense systems now. Better. Sarah's eyes sparkled. We can enhance them. The Guardian's technology was designed to learn from its inheritors. By proving we think differently than its creators, we've unlocked its ability to evolve. Hayes studied the tactical display, noting how the projected battle scenarios now incorporated distinctly human elements. How long until the main Vorkath fleet arrives? 87 days. Sarah's expression turned serious. But now we know what we're really dealing with. This isn't just about learning to use their technology. It's about teaching it to work with us. The facility hummed with new energy as systems activated throughout its vast structure. On screens throughout the base, ancient weapons platforms began powering up across the solar system, each one waiting to learn from humanity's unique approach to warfare. Send word to all research teams, Hayes ordered. I want every scrap of human military history analyzed for unconventional tactics. The Vorkath expect to find primitives playing with technology we don't understand. Instead, they're going to face an enemy that turns their own assumptions into a weapon. Sarah nodded, already pulling up new interfaces. The Guardian was created by beings who valued order and predictability. But they chose us as inheritors because we're neither of those things. Then let's show them they chose correctly. Hayes turned to the tactical display, watching as the Vorkath scouts retreated further into space. We have 87 days to turn millions of years of alien technology into something uniquely human. The Guardian systems pulsed with approval, ready to learn from a species that had turned adaptability into an art form. The real test was about to begin. 60 days before the Vorkath fleet's arrival, Earth's orbital space had become unrecognizable. Ancient defense platforms, dormant for millions of years, now orbited alongside hastily constructed human space stations. The blend of technologies created a stark visual representation of humanity's new reality. Dr. Sarah Chen watched from the Nexus Gate's Central Command as crews installed the latest hybrid weapons system, a human-designed railgun enhanced with Guardian energy-focusing technology. The combination shouldn't have worked, according to conventional physics, but humanity had long since moved beyond conventional thinking. Latest simulation results. Commander Hayes announced, entering the command center. He looked exhausted but satisfied. The Vorkath combat algorithms can't predict our hybrid systems. They keep trying to separate Guardian tech from human innovations, but they're too intertwined now. Sarah nodded, studying the data. That's because they're still thinking linearly. Look at this. She pulled up footage from yesterday's test firing. The railgun's projectile, wrapped in a cocoon of Guardian energy, had performed impossible maneuvers before striking its target with devastating force. We're not just combining technologies. We're creating something entirely new. The Guardian's eye spoke, its voice now carrying hints of human inflection after months of interaction. Observation. Human modification of defense systems has exceeded original design parameters by 47%. Query. How do you continue to derive new applications from established principles? Hayes laughed. That's like asking why water's wet. Humans have always looked at rules as suggestions. He gestured to a nearby screen showing teams of engineers working on other hybrid systems. Give us a tool, and we'll find a dozen ways to use it that its creator never imagined. Warning indicators suddenly flashed across the command displays. A technician called out, "Multiple Vorkath vessels just dropped out of FTL. Distance, 30 million kilometers and closing." Another probe? Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. Negative, Hayes replied grimly. This is a battle group. Looks like they're done testing the waters. The Guardian's displays showed 20 Vorkath warships, their sleek hulls bristling with weapons. They moved in perfect formation, their approach precisely calculated. Everything about them spoke of technological superiority and absolute confidence. They're still underestimating us, Sarah realized, watching their approach pattern. Look at their formation. It's optimized against Guardian weapons, but they haven't accounted for our modifications. Hayes studied the tactical display. Then let's show them why that's a mistake. All stations, battle stations, implement Protocol Chaos. Throughout Earth's orbital defense network, human and Guardian systems began to shift and change. Defense platforms moved in seemingly random patterns, their energy signatures fluctuating wildly. To the approaching Vorkath, Earth's defenses must have looked like they were malfunctioning. They're taking the bait, Sarah announced as the alien ships accelerated. Their formation is tightening. They think we're losing control of our systems. Arrogant bastards, Hayes muttered. Signal the Artemis platforms. Hidden among the apparent chaos, 6 hybrid weapon platforms locked onto the approaching fleet. Each one housed a human-designed quantum probability engine, married to Guardian targeting systems. The combination allowed them to fire not where targets were, but where they would be, even accounting for faster-than-light evasive maneuvers. The Vorkath never saw it coming. 6 simultaneous shots, 6 perfect hits. 2 of their ships disappeared in explosions that briefly rivaled the sun. The others scattered, their perfect formation dissolving into chaos. Direct hits. The tactical officer's voice was triumphant. Enemy fleet is retreating. No, wait. They're regrouping. New formation, much more defensive. They're adapting, Hayes noted with grudging respect. But so are we. Dr. Chen. Sarah was already interfacing with the Guardian systems, her fingers dancing through holographic controls. Initiating Phase 2. Let's show them what else we've learned. The Guardian's voice resonated through the command center. Alert. Human tactical innovations have unlocked previously theoretical defense matrices, implementing enhanced protocols. Space itself seemed to ripple around Earth as new energy fields snapped into place. The Vorkath ships fired, their weapons at full power, only to watch in apparent confusion as their energy blasts were caught in shifting fields of probability, redirected, and turned back against them. "That's impossible," one of the scientists muttered, watching the display. "We're violating at least 3 laws of physics." "Correction," the Guardian interjected. "You are rewriting them." This approach was deemed theoretically unusable due to computational requirements. Human intuitive processing has overcome this limitation. The remaining Vorkath ships retreated, jumping back to faster-than-light speed with none of their earlier precision. They left behind 3 destroyed vessels and any illusion of overwhelming superiority. "They'll be back," Hayes said quietly, "with the main fleet, and now they know we can hurt them." Sarah nodded, already analyzing data from the brief battle. "Good. Let them come planning to face what we showed them today. By then, we'll have something entirely new waiting." "You sound almost eager," Hayes observed. "Maybe I am." Sarah gestured to the displays showing humans and Guardian tech working in perfect harmony. "For the first time, we're seeing humanity's real potential. We've spent our history fighting each other, but look what we can do when we work together, when we have a real challenge to overcome." The Guardian systems hummed with approval. Original parameters exceeded. Humanity's capacity for adaptation surpasses all previous projections. Query: what innovations will you create to face the main fleet? Hayes smiled grimly. "Give us a few more weeks. We're just getting started." In orbit above, Earth's defenses continued to evolve, blending ancient wisdom with human ingenuity in ways that defied conventional understanding. The Vorkath would return with their full force in less than 2 months, expecting to face a primitive species playing with borrowed technology. They would find something else entirely. The Vorkath main fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel exactly where the Guardian's calculations predicted, just beyond Mars' orbit. 2,000 warships, their hulls gleaming with predatory malice in the distant sunlight. They moved with mechanical precision, spreading into an attack formation that had probably conquered hundreds of worlds. In Earth's combined command center, buried deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the tactical display with forced calm. "They brought more ships than we projected, trying to overwhelm us with sheer numbers," Commander Hayes replied, his voice steady. "Standard protocol against technically inferior opponents." The Guardian's artificial intelligence spoke, its tone now carrying distinct traces of dry humor after months of human interaction. Analysis: Vorkath battle strategy indicates continued underestimation of human capabilities. Recommendation: exploit this. Sarah smiled despite the tension. Even the ancient AI had learned to appreciate irony. "All defense stations, initiate Protocol Lazarus." Across the solar system, humanity's hybrid defense network sprang to life. But instead of the chaotic patterns they'd shown during previous encounters, Earth's defenses moved with absolute precision, exactly like traditional Guardian systems would behave. "They're launching fighter screens," a tactical officer announced. 500 enemy craft on intercept trajectories. Hayes nodded grimly. "Right into our trap. Execute Phase 1. The first wave of Vorkath fighters encountered exactly what they expected: energy barriers and weapon platforms using standard Guardian defense protocols. Their formations shifted smoothly, implementing countermeasures developed over centuries of warfare. Then everything changed. Sarah's fingers flew across holographic controls, switching to human protocols. Now, Earth's defenses transformed. Energy barriers that had been solid walls became complex, shifting mazes. Weapon platforms that had fired in predictable patterns now launched attacks that defied tactical analysis. Hybrid railguns fired projectiles that split apart mid-flight, each fragment wrapped in probability fields that let them exist in multiple locations simultaneously. The Vorkath fighter screen disintegrated, their rigid formation tactics, designed to counter known threats, became a liability against weapons that rewrote their own rules of operation mid-battle. First wave eliminated, Hayes announced with satisfaction. But here comes their response. The main Vorkath fleet accelerated toward Earth, their capital ships launching energy weapons that could vaporize continents. This was their standard tactic, overwhelming force to shatter any resistance. All stations, initiate Protocol Prometheus, Sarah commanded. Across Earth's orbital space, hundreds of seemingly innocent debris fields suddenly activated. They were hybrid devices that combined Guardian energy manipulation with human-designed quantum entanglement systems. As the Vorkath weapons fire approached, these fields caught the energy, channeled it through fourth-dimensional space, and redirected it. The Vorkath fleet watched in apparent shock as their own weapons fire emerged behind their lines, striking their rear guard with devastating effect. 50 enemy capital ships destroyed, the tactical officer reported. They're breaking formation, attempting to compensate. Now they'll try to adapt, Hayes predicted. Show them why that's futile. The Vorkath fleet split into smaller battle groups, each adopting different attack patterns. It was a solid strategy against normal opponents, forcing them to divide their attention and resources. But humanity's defenses weren't normal. The Guardian Eye had spent months learning human unpredictability, while humans had mastered millions of years of Guardian technology. The combination was something entirely new in the galaxy. Sarah activated the quantum communication network they'd retrofitted into the Guardian systems. All defense sectors, you have tactical freedom. Show them what humanity does best. Earth's defenders needed no further encouragement. Each sector implemented different strategies, some using pure Guardian tech, others pure human innovation, most combining both in ways that changed from moment to moment. There was no pattern to analyze, no protocol to counter. The Vorkath fleet, faced with defenses that refused to behave according to any rational pattern, began to lose coherence. Ships fired on phantom targets, formation patterns broke down, and confusion spread through their ranks. They're trying to retreat, Hayes observed, watching the tactical display. Their faster-than-light drives are powering up. Not yet, Sarah said firmly. Guardian, execute final phase. Acknowledged, the AI responded, activating human-modified probability anchors. Throughout the solar system, hidden platforms activated, generating fields that interfered with faster-than-light technology. The Vorkath fleet found themselves trapped in normal space, forced to face the full consequences of underestimating humanity. Open a channel to their command ship, Sarah ordered. Let's end this before we're forced to destroy them completely. The communication system crackled to life, and for the first time, humanity heard the voice of a Vorkath commander. It spoke through the Guardian's translation matrix, its tone a mixture of rage and disbelief. What are you? No primitive species could master Guardian technology this completely. We didn't master it, Sarah replied calmly. We improved it. That's what humans do. We take existing ideas and transform them into something new. You assumed we would use Guardian technology the way its creators did. Instead, we made it our own. There was a long pause before the Vorkath commander spoke again. You offer terms. Simple ones, Hayes interjected. Leave. Tell your empire that Earth and its solar system are protected. Not by Guardian technology, but by humanity. And we're just getting started. The tactical display showed the Vorkath fleet's weapons powering down. The probability anchors deactivated, allowing their faster-than-light drives to function again. Within hours, the invasion force had retreated, leaving behind hundreds of destroyed ships as testament to the cost of underestimating humanity. In the aftermath, Sarah stood at the observation window, watching the hybrid defense platforms resuming their patrol patterns. They'll be back eventually, she said quietly. Yes, Hayes agreed, but not as conquerors. They'll come as diplomats next time, trying to understand how we did the impossible. The Guardian's voice echoed through the command center. Analysis complete. Humanity has exceeded all projected parameters for species development. Query: what will you do with this potential? Sarah smiled, watching as teams of humans continued to work on new innovations, blending technologies in ways their creators never imagined. What we've always done, she answered. We'll explore. We'll create. We'll rewrite the rules until the impossible becomes routine. And maybe, just maybe, we'll help the galaxy understand that true strength isn't about perfect order. It's about the power of chaos and creativity working in harmony. Above Earth, the hybrid defense network continued its vigilant watch, a testament to humanity's greatest strength, the ability to take the knowledge of the past and transform it into something the future never saw coming. 1 year after the Battle of Earth, the Nexus Gate facility had transformed from a military command center into humanity's gateway to the stars. The vast underwater complex now housed representatives from every nation, working together to explore and expand upon the Guardian's legacy. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the newly formed Interstellar Council, presenting the latest discoveries. The holographic display behind her showed a galaxy very different from the one humanity had first glimpsed a year ago. The Vorkath Empire's defeat at Earth wasn't just a military victory, she explained, highlighting various star systems. It was a paradigm shift that's reshaping galactic politics. 3 other species have already approached us, seeking alliances, particularly interested in our hybrid technology programs. Commander Hayes, now Admiral Hayes of the newly formed Earth Defense Fleet, added from his seat on the Council. And more importantly, they're not approaching us as primitives who got lucky. They've seen what we can do with Guardian technology, how we can transform it into something new. The Guardian A's voice joined the discussion, its presence now a familiar part of human civilization. Observation: human influence has spread beyond projected parameters. Multiple species now attempting to replicate your innovative approaches. Sarah smiled at that. Without much success, from what we've seen, they're still trying to reverse engineer our specific innovations, missing the real lesson, that innovation itself is the key. She gestured, and the display shifted to show Earth's solar system. Hybrid defense platforms now orbited every major planet and moon, but they weren't just weapon systems anymore. Many have been modified into research stations, deep space monitoring facilities, and faster-than-light communication relays. The Vorkath thought the Guardian technology was just about military power. Sarah continued, they never understood that it was designed to evolve, to learn from its inheritors. And no species has ever approached evolution quite like humans do. The display showed a new image, the first human-built ship incorporating Guardian technology. Unlike the sleek, uniform designs of alien vessels, it was a beautiful chaos of innovation. Sections of the hull could reconfigure themselves based on need, weapon systems doubled as research tools, and its entire structure seemed to defy conventional physics. The Hyperion will launch next month, Hayes announced with pride. The first of our deep space exploration vessels. We've already identified 17 Guardian facilities in nearby star systems, each one waiting to be awakened and enhanced. One of the council members spoke up. And the Vorkath. Our intelligence suggests they're rebuilding their fleet. Let them, Sarah replied confidently. The technologies they saw during the battle are already obsolete. We've moved beyond them. She brought up new schematics, showing innovations that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our ability to use technology. It's our refusal to accept limitations on what technology can do. The Guardian Eye interjected, its tone carrying what could only be described as enthusiasm. Analysis. Human technological development has entered exponential growth phase. Probability calculations suggest 90% likelihood of achieving Type Io civilization status within 1 century. Assuming we don't blow ourselves up first, Hayes muttered, but his eyes sparkled with humor. Sarah nodded in acknowledgement. That's always the risk. But look what we've accomplished in just 1 year of true unity. The display showed images from around the world. Children learning to manipulate guardian energy fields in schools, hospitals using hybrid technology to cure previously incurable diseases, farms producing unprecedented yields with gravity manipulation systems. We're not just advancing technologically, she continued. We're growing as a species. The guardian inheritance forced us to move beyond our old divisions, to see ourselves as part of something larger. New data streamed across the display. Transmissions from distant stars, evidence of other guardian facilities waiting to be discovered, and signals that suggested other advanced civilizations watching Earth's rise with great interest. The galaxy's changing, Hayes observed, and we're the ones changing it. The Guardian A's presence pulsed through the chamber. Query: does this responsibility concern you? Sarah looked around the room, at the faces of humans from every nation, now working together toward a common future. No, she answered firmly. It inspires us. Humanity has always pushed boundaries, questioned limits, and imagined possibilities that others dismissed as impossible. Now we have the tools to make those dreams real. She brought up one final image: Earth, viewed from orbit, surrounded by the growing network of hybrid technologies that represented humanity's first steps into a larger universe. The Vorkath thought they were coming to claim an ancient weapon, she said softly. Instead, they awakened something far more powerful: humanity's unlimited potential. We're not just inheritors of the Guardian's legacy anymore. We're the architects of its future. The council chamber hummed with energy as plans were made, innovations were proposed, and humanity continued its relentless march forward. Above them, the first waves of faster-than-light probes launched into deep space, carrying human creativity and determination to the stars. The Guardian A's final words seemed to echo through time itself. Assessment complete. The trial is ended. The age of human innovation begins. In orbit, the Hyperion's engines powered up for its first test flight, its hybrid systems ready to carry humanity beyond all known boundaries. The ship's design incorporated 1,000 impossible ideas made real, a testament to what happens when human imagination meets unlimited potential. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly what humanity did best: changing the rules, pushing the boundaries, and transforming the impossible into the inevitable. The future was unwritten, unlimited, and utterly human.